Let's talk about Yone. Yone is League's newest assassin and Yasuo's brother, and as such shares many characteristics with everyone's favorite edgy samurai. But put down your pitchforks because the similarities don't run too deep between those two champions. Yone may be marketed as Yasuo 2.0, but thinking of him as such is a good way to feed. My community got together to test out Yone's capabilities and optimize what we can in a single play session. I've looked at very few resources outside of my own experiences, so take this video only as a starting point, not as a be-all end-all guide. First, his abilities. Yone's passive is very simple. Every second auto attack deals 50% magic damage. This is not bonus damage. Half of the damage is converted to magic like Corki, which reduces the effectiveness of armor pen and lethality. Additionally, Yone has Yasuo's crit passive that grants him double critical strike chance from his items. Q is the ability most like Yasuo's. Just like his brother, Yone thrusts forward, accumulating charges until on his third successful Q he can unleash the wind. The key difference is, Yone's Q is a bit shorter than Yasuo's on the thrust, and the wind blast causes him to dash forward, unleashing a projectile that knocks up opponents. The projectile goes further than Yone's dash, so step back before casting if you're using it to farm safely. This is Yone's only ability that deals pure physical damage. The ability's cooldown is static, but it's reduced by attack speed and can go as low as 1.33 seconds. It's Yone's core, max it first. W is a heavy cleave that deals % max health damage to all targets struck and grants Yone a shield if it hits. The shield's strength is increased for each champion Yone hits, with a 100% increase on the first champion and 25% for each further champion. This ability tickles minions and won't really help you farm unless you're counting on its 10 base damage at rank 1. The damage is evenly split between physical and magic damage. Like Q, W's cooldown is static and is reduced only by attack speed. The only thing that scales with points in W is the % health damage, and not well, so max this last. E splits Yone's spirit from his body, causing him to dash forward and gain ramping movement speed. Only Yone's spirit can be targeted or damaged, not his body. When it expires, Yone must return to his body's position, though you can recast it to do so earlier. This has an effect similar to Zed's ultimate, where a percentage of damage a target takes while Yone's E is active will be dealt again when he's recalled. This means it's technically true damage, but it's still limited by the not true damage you can deal. Important to note, every target will only take a percentage of the damage they took, not all of the damage dealt. Your body cannot dash over walls, but your spirit can. Max the second for a better cooldown and better snapback damage. Also, as a fun detail, if you have the Baron recall, you can actually E, recall, buy an item, and snap back. R causes Yone to dash forwards, knocking up all enemies he comes in contact with, causing them to land directly behind him. At the same time, though, those enemies limit Yone's dash range. He will always travel directly behind the last champion hit, or to max range if none are hit. It's a simple ability that deals equal parts physical and magic damage. But don't be fooled by the magic damage. There's no AP ratios in this kit. Please do not build AP Yone. Q has a 100% AD ratio and R has an 80% ratio. Those are the only ratios in this kit. As you would expect from a champion like this, he has combos. The most practical chain is QW, which can be woven between autos, but only reasonably chains once you get some attack speed. You can also cancel W into Q, which is slower but gets you the shield faster. Okay, yeah, we're watching the same footage. That's bullshit. WQ is not slower than QW. In fact, it's quite a bit faster. It's really, really good, and I did not realize this when I was recording my lines. You can buffer W during Q, including Q3, so if you land the knockup by dashing through an enemy champion, W will swing behind you and hit them. If you cast R immediately after landing Q3, then it's guaranteed. This results in the following combo being possible: E, Q3, R, auto attack, QW, auto attack, recast E. You also have the option of sticking around after your burst combo because Yone's sustained damage is nothing to neglect. Just make sure you're trading around E because the snapback adds very important damage. So let me explain how Yone's playstyle is fundamentally different from Yasuo's despite their similarities. Firstly, his early game is weak. Yone's rank 1 abilities are quite frankly terrible, and his shorter range on Q compared to Yasuo makes it more dangerous for him to farm compared to his brother. He should likely lose lane to Yasuo. Furthermore, despite the mobility in his kit, Yone is very limited in how he can use his dashes. Q's dash is only on Q3, though it is his strongest mobility tool. E always causes him to come back to his body's position, so it cannot be used to escape, and R gets blocked by champions. Consequently, Yone has practically no mobility outside of combat, making it fairly unsafe to split push in certain situations, though he can shred towers. Since Yone can only escape with a Q3 or a very well-placed ultimate, he's usually stuck in the fights he ends up in until someone dies. You must think of Yone as fundamentally an assassin with skirmisher elements. He is not Yasuo. His burst is higher and he's looking to start fights on his own terms, initiating with E. Provided that he's not already out of position, Yone can answer enemy aggression well enough in lane with his W shield or by dodging abilities with his E. He's way more effective on his crit spikes, but you can still look to trade in lane as long as you're using E and Q3 to do so. Patience is key on Yone. If you pick the wrong moments or position recklessly, you will die. For items, don't rush IE. Yone relies on getting CDR from building attack speed. I think a Zeal item followed by IE with early Berserker's Greaves work best. From there, defensive AD items like Death's Dance, Bloodthirster, or Frozen Mallet could work well. I did not try any tank items, nor did I get to test much beyond the 100% crit spike because I was either chain feeding or too fed, so I ended the game too quickly. I'll be honest, I did not play him well for the most part, but I played enough to know you want that crit spike. Though we did have a top Yone find success with the Blade of the Ruined King build, but I'll let you take that as you will. For runes, I predominantly ran Conqueror with Domination secondary for the healing runes. Though Yone is an assassin, he synergizes well with Conqueror because of the attack speed he builds, which allows him to stay in the fights longer, where he can find success if he initiated properly. I now wonder if Electrocute or PTA would be viable after seeing some genuine assassinations from him, but I'm still leaning towards Conqueror, Triumph, Alacrity, either Coup de Grace or Last Stand, Taste of Blood, and Ravenous Hunter. I only played Yone mid, but what about other roles? This information comes from the experiences of the other players in my PvE session. For jungle, the first clear is rough, and then I'm told it feels way better afterwards. Likely playable, but I can't see the ganks being strong. I saw a top lane Yone pop off, but it was a mirror match, so it's inconclusive. Finally, a bot lane Yone with Yuumi did alright, but he's lacking the defensive tools that make Yasuo a viable bot laner, so I doubt it's more than a fun pick. Mid is his role, and possibly jungle works in my eyes. But again, I'm a support main who did not have enough time to fully master a champion like this, and we only played one play session. This is 6 games speaking. However, this video should still help you understand why you're feeding on your first game of Yone. He has similarities to Yasuo, but plays a lot more patiently, so he actually appeals to me, and I suspect he'll cause fewer frustrations on the Rift than his brother. Please experiment and report back to me about anything you discover about Yone, because it's going to be a while before anyone's truly comfortable with everything Yone can do.